Hello. How are you? Listen, I'm concerned for my friend, Penn Jillette. Here's the thing. I've known him for years. And he's always been rather jovial, if not kind and considerate. He's turning bad. Bad. I fear for all of us. But mostly, I fear for his family. Please, be on the lookout for bad. Penn Jillette. Wow.
Help me be a bad guy.
Welcome to episode 26 of the Blokebusters podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Brian.
And today we have something rather special set up for you. We have an interview with director, writer Adam Rifkin, who is currently working with the wonderful stage magician Penn Jillette to create a film called Director's Cut. And he managed to take about half an hour out of his rather busy schedule, since they're already in pre-production, to talk to us about his work, the film, and where they're going to be going with that. Now, Brian, did you want to...
I just wanted to give a warning that this episode does contain some spoilers about Director's Cut. Not entire spoilers, but if you want to remain in the dark, well, you're going to have to wait a long time to listen to this, because the movie's not coming out for about another year. But the great thing with this, it's being funded by the fans and by the public, and so you are a part of the process. So.
Yes, very, very much a part of it, and Lola just can't stop being so excited about it.
Enjoy
enjoy the interview and go to fundanything.com/pen to see the pitch and all of the rewards available. Enjoy.
Hello.
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 Hi there.
How are you?
We are very good. Thank
Doing
you.
well, thank you.
Excellent.
All right. Well, to start with, thank you very much for agreeing to do this.
Greatly appreciate it.
Of course. No problem. Thank you guys.
No problem at all. All right. So, Mr. Rifkin, would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners very quickly?
Sure. Adam Rifkin here. Adam Rifkin on the line. Some of you may know me through some of the films I've made. I made a movie called Detroit Rock City that some people have liked. I made a movie called The Chase with Charlie Sheen that seems to play a lot and get a lot of positive feedback, luckily. I've written a whole bunch of kids movies that some of you guys may have seen. One was called Mouse Hunt, one was called Small Soldiers, one was called Underdog, and I've also directed a bunch of independent films. One was called The Dark Backward, which is my sentimental favorite. The best film I think I've ever made is called Look, which is all shot from surveillance cameras. My newest film that I just finished premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival just a few months ago.
Nice.
Called Reality Show, which is a satire about the world of reality television.
Oh, I'd be very much interested in that.
I can't wait for you guys to see it. And I'm here to talk to you guys about Director's Cut, which I'm collaborating on with Penn Jillette, the great Penn Jillette, who wrote the script, and I'll be directing it.
All right.
Excellent.
Is that a good intro?
That is a great intro.
Very good intro.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know too much about you before the whole Director's Cut thing started, and since then I've watched Look, and yeah, that's a very good film.
Thank you.
I still need to look at Look, but
Yes,
I will get there. This
Take a look.
I will try. All right. I certainly will. So could you just briefly tell us how Director's Cut came about?
I absolutely will. Well, as you know, or I should say for those who don't know, Director's Cut is the next film I'll be making, and Penn and I have taken to crowdfunding to seek financing for the film. We're taking this film directly to the fans and putting it in their hands and hoping that they like what we have to say and what we are wanting to make, and will help us make the film by helping us fund it. And in exchange, we've got incredibly cool things for them all to have cool stuff in exchange for cash. That's that's capitalism at its finest.
Yes.
And the way it all came about, I should plug though before I say.
Oh, go ahead.
Fundanything.com/pen is where you can go and see our pitch video, learn about our movie, see what all the rewards are, and please give generously.
So,
But the way it all came about, the way I find myself here on the precipice of making this film, and by the way, we are making the film. We've got enough money now where we've actually started pre-production.
oh, that's
very
excellent.
Well
exciting.
done with that.
Awesome.
Thank you. So the way it all came about is I had made this film called Look, and it was it played a bunch of film festivals and won a bunch of awards, and then it got a theatrical release and did really well on the art house scene, and then it played a lot on Showtime and spawned a television series. Anyway, after that, I'm driving home one night, and I get a call from my then assistant, Shane, and said, "You're never going to believe this, but Penn Jillette is tweeting about Look."
Nice.
And I said, "Wow, that's great." And I was very flattered because, first of all, I've always been a huge fan. Penn and Teller are, magic and comedy geniuses.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yes,
They're
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And Penn is just known for being a just really smart, really, funny guy. So I thought that was really cool. So I get home, and I thought to myself, I'm going to figure out a way to reach out to him and thank him for checking out my film and saying nice things about it publicly. And suddenly, I get a message on my Facebook private message on my Facebook page from Penn Jillette
Oh.
saying, and this is late Friday night, and he says, "I'm Penn Jillette. I'm part of a comedy magic team called Penn and Teller." Yeah, like I didn't know who he was, right?
Yeah.
And he said, "I just saw your film Look, and I absolutely loved it, and I would love to speak with you about it." So I wrote him back, and I said, "Sure, here's my phone number. Feel free to call me anytime over the weekend. I'm a big fan, and I'm very flattered, and thank you." And I figured, he'd call me sometime the next day. 2 seconds later, my phone rings. It's Penn Jillette.
Wow.
And he called me and said very nice things about the movie, which, was very flattering. And then he said he had written a script called Director's Cut. And he had been racking his brain trying to figure out who should direct the film. And after seeing Look, he felt that there was only one director for it, and that was me. And would I consider it? And then he pitched me the idea, which I immediately thought was genius. And I said, "Well, this sounds fantastic. I'm very excited about it all. I'd love to read the script." He said, "Let me email it to you right now." He did. I read it right then. I called him back. Now we're talking about 3 o'clock in the morning, roughly. Wow. And we had another lengthy talk about how much I love the script, and the answer was yes, I'd love to direct it, and let's team up on it. So that's how it got started. And initially, we pursued the traditional path to financing.
Right.
And it's a very unusual script. And none of us were surprised when the powers that be at movie studios didn't think that it was for them. They all loved it, which is what was unique about it. I mean, I've had situations where I've submitted scripts to studios and they've said, "We hate this. We're not financing it." Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But in this instance, they said, "We love it, but we think it's too smart for a general audience."
Which
we
thought.
Yeah, that's a bothersome note right
Yeah,
there.
very insulting to the public at large,
Yeah.
So we didn't agree. And around the same time, some crowdfunding campaigns had become very successful. The Veronica Mars campaign, just did incredibly well. Zach Braff's campaign did incredibly well.
Yeah.
Spike Lee. And then most recently, a friend of Penn's, Adam Carolla, just made, $1 million plus to make his movie. And we said, you know what? This movie is very unique. And it also, interestingly enough, it involves a film within a film. And the film within the film is funded through crowdfunding as a major component of the plot, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
So we thought it just seems like a natural that we would take it one step farther and actually pursue getting the film funded through crowdfunding. And we put a campaign video together, and we put a campaign page together, and we unleashed it on an unsuspecting public, and it's been going like gangbusters so far. We are fast approaching our goal, and it's been very exciting.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I've been watching it since I think the second day, and it is astonishing how quick some of these numbers are going.
Oh, it's incredible and very exciting. I mean, I've never experienced anything like this crowdfunding campaign before, because a lot of people think, well, you just put up the page and you check in every week or so and hopefully the number goes up. No, you've got to work it every day. I mean, it's like running for mayor. You're literally working your campaign every day.
Right, yeah, because if you're not constantly out there, then no one's going to pick up on it after the 5th day.
Exactly.
Yeah, and busy lives and all that now, it's you got to keep reminding them. But yeah, I think we're both happy to announce that we made our contributions.
Oh, yes. Unfortunately for me, it's not as much as I would have liked, but then again, I'm currently in the middle of several different things taking all my money. So I put in as much as I can.
Hey, I'm happy getting what I'm getting for my money.
Yes,
so.
yes, very much so. I also just wanted to check, I haven't checked in the last day, has anyone bought your ponytail yet?
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
What's the asking price on that?
Well, I'll be honest with you. We priced our ponytails high, in kind of secretly in hopes that nobody would want them.
I did get that feeling when I saw them go.
Yes, I don't know if I'd want to meet the person that wants my ponytail, but
well, we believe that there is the right buyer out there for both our ponytails, or I should say the right psychopath out there. But
just ship it to them. Don't give it to them personally.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and definitely not going to let them be the ones to cut it off. Yeah. But we purposely priced it high because we don't necessarily want to cut off our ponytails right now, but. You know what? We are so committed to our cause that if somebody is willing to pay that money, they can have our ponytails.
That's great.
Maybe what you should have done, at least have a minimum price, but say, have it priced every day as the rest of the money to get to the goal, just in case someone does do it, and then obviously shift it down every day with however much is there.
That's a good idea. I'll pose that idea to the group. That's very good.
There you go. All right.
I was going to say, I don't think Brian didn't really know much about the film except for what I've really.
Yeah, and I watched the pitch video, but
I thought maybe you should explain, obviously spoiler less, explanation of what this film is for those people that again haven't looked up the website.
Sure.
Yet.
Well, by the way, since everyone involved in contributing to the campaign is a fellow filmmaker on the project along with us, they are allowed to hear the spoilers, because if we were submitting a piece of material to a studio, they would get to read the script before they decided whether they wanted to fund the film or not. The fans at large are now our studio on this project, so they are allowed to hear the whole story. If they choose not to hear the spoilers, please turn down your volume now. But we're not hiding them from people because we want people to feel, which is accurate, that they are involved. They are filmmakers on this journey with us. So here's my version of the pitch, which is a shorter version than Penn pitches. Penn's pitch and the way he pitches it is brilliant, but I'll give you the short version, which is basically, it's a thriller, but it's a very unique, very meta thriller, where we take the collective knowledge that the audience already has, and we use that knowledge against them to fuck with their brain. And what I mean by, can I say fuck?
Of course.
Okay. What I mean by that is first of all, let's take it from the first step. Everybody's familiar with director's commentaries on DVDs and Blu-rays.
Oh, yes.
So this film takes the director's commentary and uses it as a narrative device throughout the entire film. There's no choice. You can't click it off as an option. The director's commentary plays over the entire film of director's cut. That's one of our devices. And so what happens is the movie starts, and what begins is a very taut, creepy cop thriller in the vein of Seven or Silence of the Lambs. Okay? And as soon as it starts, you hear the voice of the director. And you're going to recognize that voice as being Penn Jillette's voice. And he's going to start saying, hey, I'm the director of this film. welcome to my director's commentary. I'm going to be here with you the whole way, telling you stories about how we made it and what it was like working with some of these incredible actors. And as the film unfolds, you're going to be able to follow the story of the movie that he's talking about between the things he says. But his voice will never go away. And he'll talk about the actors, and he'll tell anecdotes and things like that. But the girl who plays the lead in the cop movie, she's an FBI, profiler who's after a serial killer, and this serial killer is mimicking famous crime scenes from famous serial killers, and she's on the case, right? And the actress who plays this role is going to be playing herself, So whoever the actress is that we cast, he'll say, God, it was so great working with so and so, and she's such a consummate professional, and he'll start telling stories about what it was like working with her, and then he'll start talking more about how much he loves working with her, and he loves being around her, and he loves the way she smells, and he loves the way she looks at him. And suddenly you start to realize this director's kind of a creep. You know what I mean? This director is a little inappropriate the way he's talking about his leading lady. You know what I mean? And as the movie starts to unfold, you start to see that the editing is maybe a little bit more crude in spots than you might expect from a finished Hollywood film. Suddenly things are missing, like she goes in to kiss her leading man, but the kiss is hacked out in a real sloppy way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or there's a scene where she starts to take off her shirt and it's repeated 20 times. You know what I mean?
I can handle that mistake. That's
right. and then suddenly you start to see footage cut into the movie that's not from the movie, but from a camcorder, from hidden from some dark corner of the set, zoomed in on her working, during a rehearsal, with the script in her hand, and little by little you start to realize I don't think this voice is the director of this film. I think this voice is some sort of creep or some sort of stalker who's obsessed with this actress, right? Yeah. And as it unfolds, you start to realize, yes, that is indeed the case. And then you see this camcorder footage following her off of the set. And you see this camcorder footage following her back to her hotel. And you see whoever's behind this camcorder kidnap this actress and take her forcibly back to his basement dungeon / movie studio that he's constructed, sloppily, like a kid's play set, where he's intending to reshoot the ending of the movie, and he's cast himself as the love interest. And suddenly you realize this is a movie about a stalker who is obsessed with an actress who bought a role in the film because the movie was crowdfunded, so he was able to gain access to the production. He was able to stalk his leading lady. He was able to kidnap her and reshoot the movie to his liking, starring the object of his obsession. And the reason that it's called Director's Cut is he's put this all together to fulfill his twisted fantasy of how this movie should have been put together, and he's called it Director's Cut. And it's going to be really wild.
Yeah,
it sounds amazing. And
although, of course, I would like to point out that you should probably have slight screening behind the people buying the roles on the film, just on the off chance that you end up with life imitating art.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Wouldn't that be life imitating art, imitating life imitating art?
Yes. Yeah, and especially in when Hollywood and the studio system seems to be just inundated, or at least the theaters inundated with sequels and remakes. It's really refreshing to hear something that's truly original.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, that's what attracted me to it in the first place. When Penn gave me the original pitch, I was blown away. I said, I've never seen a movie like this before. And as a filmmaker, I want to be involved in films that people haven't seen before, and this is an opportunity that we all have to do something wholly unique.
From the minute I heard of it, given how much I already like all of these extra features anyway, I started to think, wow, how has no one ever really done this before as a narrative device? Rather than just
Didn't you hear? It's too smart.
I know. Well, yeah.
No one, everyone else is dumb.
Very true. I guess since those things started coming out, Hollywood has gone a little downhill with that respect.
Yeah, but I can't wait. I'm excited to see it develop.
Yeah, it's almost one of those things of now that we've crowdfunded it and it's getting close to its goal, you then don't think, oh no, once this little period is over, they've got to go into pre-production, which you've already done, then production, then post-production. We got to wait at least until I would guess summer of next year before most of this stuff is coming out. I know that the DVDs and Blu-rays will come out beforehand, and if you paid the right amount of money, you get to go to the premieres and stuff. So,
but I'll tell you this: as it unfolds, we're going to keep everybody who's contributed involved, because everybody's going to have access to the website, and the website's going to have daily updates from the set, from the editing room, from the casting office. Every step of the way, we're going to have everybody, have total access to the process. So because everybody's a partner on this film. So
it really makes people feel like they're a part of it, something.
Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely the first I've ever heard of something like this happening, where you get that much access to a film. And
it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
I can't wait. I just gotta bide my time now.
Yes.
Until the
that will make the waiting for the film to come out a lot easier.
Do you have a rough timeline when you would like to like it to be released?
Well, we know it's going to be 2014. Obviously, it's just a matter of exactly when. And frankly, whoever plays our lead female is going to have a lot to do with when we shoot. Because whoever we're casting, it's going to be somebody worth waiting for if they have something going beforehand. So depending on her schedule, we'll be able to work around that.
Excellent.
All right, yeah. And I must say, I'm hoping you guys get through the process of vetting the one super famous person Penn alluded to as wanting to play the police chief, because I just want to know who it is.
I can't say anything yet, but once we start announcing cast, you guys are going to be blown away.
I'm sure we will. The good thing about this being that someone as likable and well respected as Penn Jillette doing this is going to allow you access to that level, which will make this even better.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Penn, is everybody knows Penn, everybody loves Penn, everybody acknowledges that Penn is a really smart and interesting guy, and everybody wants to be a part of things that are smart and interesting, and everybody wants to be a part of Penn, and he's got friends in high places, and we're putting together an incredible team.
Yeah, it definitely sounds it. Well, I figured we would spend the last 10 minutes here kind of talking about sort of your career and choices in general. And I wanted to ask you, I know that you are a writer. You've written several films, as you said, as in Mouse Hunt and Small Soldiers. And you've also directed a bunch of films. And I wanted to know which you preferred to do. Like, do you like the writing and coming up with the original material, or do you prefer going the director's route and directing those independent films?
Well, it's interesting. Every version of the process is different and is great in its own way. I'd say probably first and foremost, some of the most satisfying experiences I've had are when I've had an idea for a movie, I've written the movie, we've made the movie, and then I watch an audience like the movie. You know what I mean? There's something about that totality of experience, creating something from nothing, that is really satisfying. Now, that being said, I've also had incredibly positive experiences where I've read a script that I love and I've interpreted it, and that's been a really fun process. Like Detroit Rock City, I didn't write. I just directed it.
Right.
My friend Carl Dupre wrote it, and it was so much fun to interpret his words visually the way I thought would be a fun way to go. That's been a really satisfying experience as well. And that's what I'm looking forward to with Director's Cut, because Penn wrote such an incredible script that, bringing that to life is really fun. I've also had great experiences writing movies that other people have directed. You write something, you put it down on paper, you think, this scene seems like it'd be really hard to figure out how to shoot it. Luckily, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, you just wrote the thing. Yeah, that's your job to make it happen.
On Mouse Hunt, Gore Verbinski, who directed it, said to me, because I came to visit the set on the day when they were shooting. I don't know if you saw it, but there's a scene where the whole house is covered with mouse traps, and once one of them goes off, the chain reaction creates just a wave of mouse traps all going off all at the same time in a wave, and as they were going off, they were chasing the two lead actors as they were trying to roll away from the snapping mouse traps. and he said, "Damn you for writing this," because it took us forever to figure out how to get this done. I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty glad I didn't have to worry about that."
I can't imagine the setup time for that scene.
Something that took you a minute to write down.
That's exactly right. And if it didn't turn out right, I mean, it would have been days just to reset up. So, but that's, all the experiences are fun, getting to be involved in movie making. And that's, I mean, my dream growing up was I wanted to make movies. I'm from Chicago. I made, little movies with my friends with the home, movie camera, and always wanted to move to Hollywood as soon as I was old enough and pursue movie making for real. So any version of being involved in movies that are actually getting made, I got to be honest with you, it's all fun. At least for me. I mean, I can't speak for other people. I've met a lot of people in this town who are always stressed out, always angry, always bitter, and always have something to complain about. For me, I'm living out my lifelong dream. So to me, it's all fun.
All right.
And quickly, I wanted to ask if there was maybe while you were growing up, you said you knew this is what you wanted to do. Any seminal films that had a profound effect on you, maybe popular or maybe some that people aren't aware of?
Absolutely. I loved movies growing up. I really became a student of movies just because I loved them so much. I started out loving monster movies when I was a little kid. That was my first love. Old monster movies, Frankenstein, Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Like the Universal.
Loved the Universal monster movies.
Yep.
There was a show on in Chicago, in fact it's still on, called The Son of Svengoolie. And he is this ghoul who hosts monster movies, and he would show all the monster movies. So I would see all the Universal monster movies. I'd see all the Japanese monster movies, all the Hammer films. I'd see, every kind of horror movie I saw on his show. And it gave me a great education, into the world of monster movies. When I hit about 10, 11, 12, I started to see movies a little differently, because the first movie that changed my my perception of film was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I saw when I was probably about 11 or so. Wow. And that movie just blew my mind. Suddenly I realized movies aren't just about, they don't just have to be fun or cool makeup or a rubber head floating down a river. You know what I mean? Sometimes now, I realized movies can be emotionally moving and intellectually challenging and can make you see the world differently. And that I watched that movie over and over. And then suddenly I started just watching all kinds of movies and just getting into film as an art form. I got really into, all the great filmmakers like, Coppola and Scorsese and Billy Wilder and Woody Allen and Sidney Lumet and all the European filmmakers and all the indie filmmakers and all the golden age of Hollywood filmmakers, and just seeing as many movies as I can. And I still love to do that, And each movie, even a bad movie, inspires me in some way to either learn what to do or what not to do for movies of my own,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, especially if you love film so much. You might even want to go and see the, quote, bad film, just to see what you can take from it, the good and the bad, I suppose.
Yeah. No, listen, I love bad films. And in fact, bad films can be educational, like we just said, learn what not to do. But also bad films can be some of the funniest films ever made.
Oh, yeah. Whether intentionally or not, it's still
exactly.
fun to watch.
I mean, me and a bunch of friends watched a movie the other night called An American Hippie in Israel. It came out in the very early 70s.
Okay.
Movie that has barely been seen anywhere in the world. And it was so funny. We laughed so hard throughout so much of the film. So there you go.
I might try to find that. Looks like sounds like it's worthwhile.
It was so funny. It took a turn at the very end, which I did not like. I hate any cruelty to animals in films. And at the very end, It looked like, I hope it was just tranquilized, but there's this lamb that appeared to be dead at the end. That was a bummer. But aside from that,
you can always, kidnap someone and reshoot it to your liking.
Hey, good idea.
I just thought of that, so.
Yeah. Well, good thinking.
All right. I don't know. I think is that about going to do it for us? Or did you have another question?
Like I said, the only thing I was going to ask was something that we thought would be interesting to get your perspective on. there's so many modern remakes of classic films, or even remakes of things that only came out 10 years ago. And we were thinking, is there any film that you would love to have a go at remaking? Or are you of the school of people that just leave the classics alone and then move on? Like, start doing your own stuff?
I'm not against remakes. Some of my favorite movies are remakes of other movies. The Fly by David Cronenberg and The Thing by John Carpenter are both remakes of 1950s sci-fi movies. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the originals are great, and the remakes are great. And I think if the movie is good, it's good. I mean, who was it? William Friedkin I saw speak recently, and he said that I think he was talking about The Maltese Falcon was like the third version of that movie. Twice before. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. What movie do I think really, really begs to be remade? That's a great question. I don't have just a sort of off-the-cuff answer for it. But just conceptually speaking, I think that there's a lot of really cool movies that the average person doesn't know exists. And if remaking a film, even if it's a bad remake, if it draws attention to the original film, which is good, then I think that's worth it. I mean, a lot of people. That's a good point. A lot of people are going to see Carrie this weekend. Now I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's good or not. I hope it's great. But if nothing else, a lot of the people who are going to go see it have never even heard of the original, and maybe they'll rent it, and maybe they'll see, oh, hey, this Brian De Palma version of Carrie is fantastic. So let's hope.
And maybe they'll start reading Stephen King, and that it's
exactly.
Yep. So, well, I think we're going to let you go here, Adam.
I had one other question written down, which was just I know that you probably get a lot of what was your best day on set? Like tell us the best day you ever had. And I was just wondering, what was the worst day you ever had directing a film? Was there a day when just everything went wrong and it just wasn't a productive day at all, or?
I'll tell you this. I won't tell you who it is, and I won't tell you which film it is because I don't want to get sued.
Okay. You like to remain working.
Right. But the worst day I ever had was on a film I was making. The lead actress, who was very famous. I mean, very famous.
Okay.
We had to fire her because she was doing copious amounts of drugs on set, and we were not able to get anything shot for 2 days in a row. And finally, we looked at each other and realized, the value of this person in this film is undeniable. Just their presence in the film has tremendous value to the film. But if we continue moving forward with her, we're not going to get a finished film at all. Right. So we decided to fire her, and so that was probably the worst day. The best day. I've had a lot of best days on movies, I'll be honest with you. But the first one that comes to mind is probably the biggest day I've ever had on any movie, and that's when we shot the Kiss concert for Detroit Rock City. We had 10,000 extras, and it was just, and we had, like 15 cameras, and it was just a really exciting day because it was just so massive. But the best experience I ever had in any film, with regard to any film of mine, is the first screening we had of Look. It was a packed audience, and their reaction to the film was so satisfying to me as a filmmaker that I just was completely high from that. I mean, that was a great experience. And I look forward to having great experiences as well on Director's Cut. And you, too, can be involved by going to fundanything.com/pen. Watch the pitch video. Read the rewards. Become a part of this film. Donate money. Get cool stuff. And we'll make a movie together. How was that last plug?
That was
awesome. It's a great thing. Yeah, it's a great thing what you're doing, and
definitely just keep at it, as I'm sure you were already planning on, and I really hope that everything will get fully paid. I was just wondering, is there a point where, let's say you get $899,999, so you fall just a little short? Will you guys still be making it anyway? Or?
Yes, we're making it now.
Yeah,
we reached a point where we have committed to making the film. If we don't raise another penny, we're still making the film. That said, please don't stop giving pennies. We want to reach our goal. We want to make the film exactly how we've imagined that the film could be, and we don't want to cut the corners that we would have to cut if we only had the exact amount of money that's in the kitty right now. So we ask that everybody please help us reach our goal so we can really make this film the way we're dreaming it could be. And, by the way, again, this isn't charity. Check out all the rewards. When you contribute money to this film, you get cool ass stuff, and I mean, you get tickets to the Penn and Teller show, and a suite at the Rio Hotel, and a wild weekend in Vegas. You get all, you get a line in the movie. You can get a credit in the movie. You can get all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, and I wish I could have paid more. Obviously, I couldn't. The only thing I would say is I hope that even once the deadline is passed, there's still that option of donating and possibly getting some of those rewards, if not all of them, because I would definitely prefer to upgrade if I ever get that much money before you start getting into the actual film. So
what? I bet you I'm going to find out if that's allowed, because that's a great idea. We should definitely keep that option available for anyone who still wants to get involved. I'm going to find out if that's true and check in and we'll see, because that's a very good idea.
All right. Well, I'm glad to have helped.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you again very much for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to talk to us here.
Yeah. No problem. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Penn's a bad guy. I've known him for years. I've never liked him. He's just someone, he's an obnoxious, disgusting human being. And, but something, he's gotten worse. He's gotten worse, believe it or not. And if you want him to get even worse than he is now, if such a thing is possible, then give him money, and he'll get much worse. I have total faith in Penn that he could be the lowest human being on the earth.
Help me be a bad guy.